Alrighty, we've got the this is the second round match in the losers bracket between Yurikamome and RTT. The loser of this match will be eliminated. The winner of this match will go on to face Freaky in the second round of the losers bracket. So, a lot on the line. Let's look at this kingdom. We've got Trashing, Recruiter, Count, Exorcist, Forager. Whole lot of ways to trash. Draw. The draw is basically going to be Will-O-Wisps or Imps from Exorcist, or putting Pathfinding on something for draw. Actions, Mountain Village, Fishing Village, Recruiter. Plus buy Forager. That'll be a little bit awkward, but that'll be good. So definitely looks like a decently strong kingdom. You've got all the requisite components to build. You've also got Magic Lamp around because of Secret Cave. So you'll probably be looking to activate that as soon as possible. How would you go about doing that early? I think 5-2 seems very clear. You just open with Recruiter. I mean, you could consider opening Count to trash faster, but Recruiter's just such a better card. On 4-3, I think Exorcist Forager seems good. Could see like Exo Silver or something to try to get a faster Recruiter. But if you've got the Exos around for Estates, then Recruiter's going to be a little bit less good. Yeah, they both open Exorcist on 4. That doesn't surprise me. The $3 buy, I think there'll be a little bit more choices as to what they take. Even Secret Cave would actually be fine. Like if you have Secret Cave and Exo in the same hand, you can discard 3, then trash the last card with Exorcist, and you'll have like 6 coins or more on the next turn. You could buy something nice for yourself. And in general, you just kind of want to add one of each of these cards in the early game because you're trying to activate Magic Lamp. And so it's probably going to be some combination of like Exorcist, Cave, Forager, Fishing Village, Silver, and so forth. Fishing Village will definitely be better than Silver here because it stays in play for longer. Like it's in play the turn you play it, and it's in play the turn afterwards. So it's more helpful for activating Magic Lamp than Silver is. I would definitely take Fishing Village over Silver if it was between the two of those. Will-O-Wisp will help. That'll be another unique card. I wouldn't be surprised if they activate relatively soon here. Let's see what they've done since. So they both took Forager turn 2. I don't think that's particularly surprising. Turn 3 Bard is interesting. Yeah, Bard's pretty good. I guess it's not a bad card for hitting 5 early, and you're not unhappy to hit 5 here and get a Recruiter. 5 here from RTT. I think this seems like a pretty clear Recruiter buy. Not sure what else he's considering. Scepter, Count. Yeah, he just takes Recruiter. I think that was a pretty clear choice. So Yurikamome is not likely to hit 5 this turn. Could consider discarding here. So if they discard, they only hit like 2. 2 is not a very pleasant number. If they don't discard, they can hit up to 4, or more like, yeah, they'd probably hit 4. I mean, you could consider keeping the estate around to trash to the Exorcist because it gets you a Will-O-Wisp. But I think here, probably don't discard. Oh no, it's worth thinking what they have coming up. So they have a Will-O-Wisp from the Exorcist. They have a Lamp. They have a Copper. That's 3 uniques. If they discard with Secret Cave and they have Fishing Village in play, is that enough to activate? I think not. I think they're lacking a 6th unique there. But they have 3 here, and they could have potentially had 2 in play. Exorcist is itself a little bit awkward for Lamp purposes because you can't play it until after the buy phase, which means it will never count as a unique card for Magic Lamp purposes because it won't be in play until too late. But it can get you Will-O-Wisps, which are both things you want in general and are themselves unique cards. So Yuri misses this turn. Maybe he'll have a chance to shuffle. What's RTT take? I think RTT is very likely to activate Lamp in this next turn. They've got a lot of unique cards coming up. Yeah, this looks really good. So, as RTT, I think you play the... Secret Cave first or Will-O-Wisp first? Playing Secret Cave first saves you if the Will-O-Wisp happens to be third from the top. If you play Will-O-Wisp first, you could potentially clear out like a copper. I think playing Secret Cave first is probably better. It gives you at least 3 search space, and then the only way I think you don't find your your Lamp in time is if it's like Recruiter is third and Lamp is fourth. Even then, I think he might be guaranteed to draw. Yeah, he has another Wisp in there, so he's entirely guaranteed to draw this. He should play this Will-O-Wisp because he will have Forager, Cave, Bard, Copper, Recruiter, and Lamp. Even if he's played 2 Will-O-Wisps, he doesn't need the Will-O-Wisp for the uniques. So he's going to activate this turn. Yeah, this looks very good. And, unfortunately, Eureka is struggling a bit over there with the Lamp. Yeah, I think this is a pretty decisive position already for RTT. Activating Lamp, like a full shuffle earlier, can often be pretty significant because then it's going to snowball pretty fast from there. Was that just better luck, or is there perhaps a misplay from Yuri early on? They seem to have pretty similar turn 3, turn 4 shuffles in quality. RTT did hit that early 5 for Recruiter, which was pretty nice. Maybe that's just what made the difference. Or it might just be that Yuri's cards have not lined up very well this shuffle. Hard to say, but it definitely does look like Yuri's a bit behind now. So where's RTT's deck go from here? Next thing to think about is probably what you're going to try to put Pathfinding on. That's a tough question. I think there's not like any glaringly obvious candidates. It could be... I don't like putting it on Fishing Village very much because Fishing Village is a duration card, so it'll stay out of play. You could put it on Secret Cave, because although Cave is a duration card, you could just always elect not to discard so that your Secret Cave never stays out of play. Then you functionally have a stack of $3 labs in the form of Secret Caves. You could put it on Mountain Village. That's a little awkward because you don't have any yet, but you get them. You could just put it on... Putting it on Recruiter seems kind of gross. You could put it on Mill. Okay, so RTT puts it on the Mill pile. The downside of Mill is there's only 8 to go around maximum. Your opponent's already got at least one of them. But, it's a cantrip. It's a pretty plausible buy. It's worth a point as well. I think Mill's a fine choice. So, Eek. Is Yuri missing again? I think you gotta play this as Recruiter, I think. Yeah. Yuri just really, really had to find that Lamp, because I don't think he can go another shuffle without activating. So playing the Scepter as Recruiter gave them another shot at finding Lamp. As it turns out, they found it, and at the very least, they got to activate their Lamp and get 3 wishes in their deck. Still seems a bit behind, but certainly they were very lost if they didn't get that Lamp off. So yeah, RTT looks like he's going to win the Mill split pretty decisively. You can definitely discard 2 cards here for Mill. So as Yuri, you're probably considering pathfinding something else. Not exactly sure what that something else is. It's surprising to me that RTT chose to discard the Secret Cave and the Recruiter. I was expecting him to discard like 2 coppers and then draw back to them with the Recruiter. Not exactly sure why that order. Maybe he's probably just keeping the coppers around for forager food, because stuff to feed to foragers isn't exactly the easiest to come by. Alright, so Yuri's got all 3 wishes in hand. This seems like a pretty important decision point in the game. What are you wishing for? It's a tough call. So Yuri takes the last mill. I guess that kind of makes sense. It denies it to RTT, who obviously really wants them because they're laboratories for RTT. I don't think Yuri wants to pathfind mills with just so few mills. I think he's only got... So he's got 3 of them to RTT's 5. But then, what else are you putting pathfinding on? It's not like he has a whole lot of any other cards. But pathfinding a pile you'll only ever have 3 cards from just seems like such a waste. Huh. Is it crazy to put pathfinding on Bard? Like, villages aren't really an issue with the recruiter around, and then Bard's like a little conspirator at that point. That could be a thing. Likely you could just pathfind Secret Cave, and then okay, so Yuri goes for pathfinding mill. That's interesting. I was thinking there you could play your Scepter as forager, then you have 11 and 2 buys. You could buy Secret Cave, pathfind Secret Cave, and then in the very short term you've only got 2 of them, but you can easily get a lot more of the $3 cards. Yuri is just going for duchies already, which is interesting. Not sure why he feels he needs to score so fast. I mean, chances are, I think he's kind of in a bad spot regardless. RTT got that earlier lamp activation, but I'm not sure the duchy is going to resolve that at all. Yeah. Oh, this is a bad dud for RTT. Which does that let Yuri back in it? I feel like RTT is at least a turn ahead though. I'm not sure Yuri is really back in the game, even despite this. Yuri taking all the duchies. I don't expect Yuri's deck to be particularly consistent from here on out. He's got pathfinding on mill, of which he only has 3 in his entire deck, and he's now filling his deck with duchies. I think he's going to struggle to hit big numbers here. Like, Yuri's deck would need to be, like, have an exceptional turn to consider double provincing. Like, what's he have in hand? He could do province duchy again. Not sure how much that's worth. Yeah, like what is Yuri's path to winning? Double province probably loses because RTT can probably double province. Single province also probably loses because RTT can double province. If he does province duchy, then he'll be at 24. Then if RTT double provinces, he's still dead because there's no way Yuri's deck is doing province duchy followed by province double duchy. So yeah, if RTT could double here, I think he's pretty solidly won. Not totally sure he can. His deck's also gonna fizzle out a bit, but I think he's likely to be able to. And maybe there's even one where RTT can do like double province plus duchy. That'll be beyond winning. He's getting close. So he's got 4, 6, and I don't think he can do double province and duchy. Why is he not playing this mill? It's a recruiter on top, I believe. Or has he trashed that already? Oh, he's trashed the recruiter already. Okay, he's just going to top deck the mill and then single province. Huh. Okay. I think it's like a theoretical world where I think Yuri's deck could double province, but I think that was remote enough that it's fine for RTT to leave 2 provinces left. Yeah, this is just winning. Doesn't really matter much what you buy here. Mountain Village, Estate, Secret Cave even. Now, Yuri can do 2 duchies here. But that's still not even particularly close in points. Because, oh, they're going to do 2 duchies and an estate? That's slightly better. In any case, RTT's got it in hand. All right, game 1 to player 1. What do we have in this kingdom? Do they have an extra menagerie on? It looks this looks like an extra menagerie kingdom. You got Falconer, Coven, Cardinal, Enclave. I think they'd have one more card if they had extra menagerie on. So we got no draw. This looks like, yeah, I don't think you can actually draw cards here. Because you've got a bunch of sources of +2 cards, like Ghost Ship, Masquerade, Gear. So those are functionally like +1 card, -1 action. But then your only source of action here is Hamlet, which is like -1 card, +1 action, because you have to discard the card for action. So you're, I think, just going to spin in circles. So I don't think your goal is really to get a big hand size. Cards will be important here. All the draw cards are going to be important anyway. Ghost Ship is going to be a devastating attack because, as I was just saying, the attack is so weak. You can get Guardian, which you'll need to make sure the Ghost Ship doesn't hit. Masquerade will be important because thinning is important, especially when there's so little in the way of draw. And then lastly, Gear also seems relevant because you could like stow away 2 junk cards like Provinces for the following turn, and then those cards can be discarded to Hamlet. So Gear and Hamlet will play kind of nicely with each other if you end up doing that. So what do you do here? I'm not sure how much you even build in the first place. Like, there could be an argument for just like Gear money with like a few Guardians to protect you from attacks. How important is picking up like Hamlets and then doing other things? I'm really unsure. I think I would try to build at least a little bit, but you're not building anything particularly large here. They both open with Gear Masquerade. I think that's a pretty strong opening. Masquerade can trash, and Gear makes you less unhappy if your terminals happen to collide, because you can stow away the mask with the Gear. That opening only really goes badly if you find your Masquerade and then it draws your Gear dead. Then you're a little bit sad. What do you take on 5? Falconer? Okay. I could see an argument for a number of the 5s. Definitely not Contraband. Ghost Ship's a good attack. Coven's an okay attack. Both of those could prompt your opponent to get Guardians early, and you want to force them to take Guardians, because even if the Guardian ultimately blocks your cards, the Guardians themselves are like coppers in their deck, so it's kind of forcing them to play with extra coppers. Now, what's the Falconer going to gain? Good question. I mean, eventually Falconer gaining silvers will probably be fine in the long term. In the short term, I'm not exactly sure. I feel like my first 5 would have been Ghost Ship. It's just such a strong attack. RTT does take Ghost Ship. But in response to RTT's having taken Ghost Ship, Yuri is able to react to that Falconer and get a well-timed Hamlet. Not sure yet who I think's in the lead. I do like RTT's Ghost Ship. Not sure what RTT buys here. Another Hamlet. Another gear. It's very late where I am. Expect some yawns. So as Yuri, I am absolutely looking to get a Guardian here. No question. Because I know RTT's Ghost Ship is coming up. And if I don't get a Guardian down, I'm going to get hit by that. Now, that does mean you could consider not even bothering spending an action on Falconer. Because you could either buy a thing that activates Falconer, get the Guardian with Falconer. Or you could just buy the Guardian directly and use that to activate Falconer. Might even be worth taking Guardian now. Probably not. You probably take something of more value to you and then buy the Guardian. So I'm discarding for buy here, I think. Okay, they discard for both. I think that's also fine. I think set aside nothing, play Masquerade. Which is what they do, yeah. You buy Guardian Hamlet, and then not exactly sure what you're taking with the Falconer. Silver, maybe? Another Hamlet? We'll find out. Just another Hamlet, that's fine. I think Yuri, wants to have some attack in the deck. Probably should be Ghost Ship. But even Coven might be fine. The point just to get RTT to take Guardians, because RTT will lead at least 2, realistically 3, maybe even 4 Guardians to reliably protect against the Ghost Ship thing. Like as Yuri, I would consider just don't trash anything here. Buy Ghost Ship, activate Falconer for probably Guardian. Seems good. You want a Guardian in play because RTT's got a fresh shovel. That Ghost Ship could be anywhere. Yep, sure enough. Ghost Ship Guardian. I think that was a good play from Yuri. Yeah, RTT takes the Guardian now. Makes sense. Yuri's got a Ghost Ship now. It's kind of the value of having the Ghost Ship. You might get an attacker or two. Maybe your opponent misses their Guardian, and then they just don't have the ability, for practical purposes, to buy a new Guardian to replace it. But for the most part, I think the real Ghost Ship attack in this kingdom is making the opponent take Guardians in the first place. I'm surprised that Yuri wasn't discarding for plus action earlier. Like, you could easily afford to add in another terminal with Falconer mid-turn if you had a bunch of plus action. But maybe they're just looking to play the Falconer in the buy phase, which is also fine. Whoa, that's different. So they didn't even bother playing the Ghost Ship. I was thinking play the Ghost Ship and then react with Falconer to whatever you bought. I guess they just really did not want another 2-type card. There's a lot of them. You can get Guardian, Gear, Cardinal, Ghost Ship, Falconer, Coven. Any I'm missing? Yeah, any of those 6 would activate. If Guardian weren't around, Ghost Ship plus Masquerade would be an absolutely devastating attack combination. Because, you gotta top deck 2 things, but then you can't top deck any of the bad stuff because Masquerade's coming. And so in the end game, it'll be really hard to hit 8. or hypothetically would be, except that Guardian can block the ghost ship part of that. What do you do as Yuri? Oh, your opponent doesn't have a Guardian in play. Definitely play the ghost ship. Yeah, it's weird because Ghost Ship is objectively a much stronger attack than Militia is. Putting the cards back on top of your deck is worse than discarding them, because with Militia you can just discard the worst cards. With Ghost Ship, if you're quote unquote discarding the worst cards, they're going straight to your next turn, and so you have to face the music eventually. But that also kind of means that the Masquerade effect amplifies the harm of Militia more than Masquerade amplifies the harm of Ghost Ship. Because with Ghost Ship, you might just top deck your good cards, have a terrible turn, with the intent to have a decent turn next turn. And then if you do that, you'll still have something to pass the Masquerade. You get to react with Falconer to RTT's Guardian game. I feel like the Falconer has actually been pretty good here. Still think I would have taken the Ghost Ship before Falconer, but I like having the Falconer on the deck. You're getting a lot of cards. Yuri's got 6 of the 8 Hamlets that have been taken so far. That's real nice for reliability. And there's just so many 2-type cards here that Falconer is functionally non-terminal. What's RTT take? I don't know. Just Province. Interesting. I didn't think his deck was at Province stage yet, but apparently he does. I would think if I was kind of looking to score maybe an Enclave first, it's kind of like splitting the difference between building and greening. But RTT just wants to go straight for Provinces. I guess... No, I'm not liking the Enclave, because I think you get 2 options with RTT. Option A is take those last 2 Hamlets, so you at least have like 4 of them. And then you have at least something of a deck and can build a little bit. Option B is decide that you just lost the Hamlet split too badly to build an engine. Play money, which is still fine with like gear and Masquerade and stuff, are fine for money. And then that deck probably does want to go straight for Provinces, I guess. And it looks like that's what RTT is going with. I could have also seen something like Hamlet Falconer or Hamlet Ghost Ship. Some combination like that in lieu of the Province. But it does put the onus on Yuri to start greening pretty soon, though. I mean, Yuri's got the better deck, but if they don't score quickly, there's not really a whole lot of alt VP to catch up with. So it's not really a foregone conclusion that Yuri's going to win. I think RTT is actually in a fine spot. Yeah, the Duchy does seem a little bit early. Although I'm not exactly sure what Yuri wants. Could be a Coven. You know, RTT's deck I think is not hitting or finding its Guardian that reliably. You might even get in some points. And you kind of need the payload anyway. As it happens, that Coven was in fact blocked. I think this is anyone's game still. Like, Yuri wins the longer it goes, but RTT does have a decent enough points lead, and the difference in deck quality is not that large. It's hard to say. I didn't actually place a bet on this one in time, so I'm not even sure who I'm rooting for. But I'm actually 2-0 in the last 2 bets. I've turned this losing streak around. What's Yuri by? Another gold, okay. RTT hits province again. It seems like a pretty clear choice to set aside. Yeah. Hey, it doesn't set aside the ghost ship. That's interesting. Not sure why. I mean, I believe. Yeah, I'm not totally sure why he didn't set aside the ghost ship. I guess he just decided the copper is better for hitting 8. But with that 8, RTT's in a pretty good position. Can Yuri double here? 9, 13, 14. Yeah, Yuri can double here. I think you set aside nothing. You play Hamlet, discard for plus buy, and then you take a silver. And that's double. And then all of a sudden Yuri will be in a good spot again. It's a little sad having to discard the gear, but I think I would just discard the gear for plus buy. This works out as well. Oh no, it doesn't. Was I miscounting previously? No, he had doubles. He played the Falconer, right? All of a sudden, I'm doubting myself. He had 3 golds and 2 silvers in hand. And he needed 3 golds, 3 silvers, and the coin that he had from the Guardian. Oh, he set aside the silver. Yeah, that's where that extra money went. Well, why? I don't know why you wouldn't just double there. Like you're definitely not winning if RTT gets all these provinces. You got to plan to get a majority of the remaining provinces to win. I think I like that play. I was about to say, I think Yuri, you just set aside everything but the Guardian and look to have a good next turn. This looks like it's a sad pass, but passing Hamlet's actually, I think, not that bad for Yuri. He's got a new one coming in, and RTT was playing that Masquerade Dead, so that Hamlet was not going to imminently help RTT at all. Yeah, Yuri is very much still in this. I think Yuri might even be in the lead here. Because with this turn, he'll tie it up points-wise. How do you play this? I kind of want to play the gear and set aside the Falconer and the Coven. Although, now that you see your money, maybe setting aside the golds is better than one of those. Like, Coven Gold or Falconer Gold. Might be better than Coven Falconer. Some 2 of those 3 are getting set aside. I'm not exactly sure which. I have to think about that a bit. I think I like setting aside the Falconer. So the problem here is if RTT single provinces, Yuri cannot single province back because that would be losing as player 1. The Coven potentially resolves that because it can curse them if they don't get a Guardian in play. But the Falconer can also resolve that by just like taking an estate. And so maybe you just take Coven and Falconer and leave the gold. I'm not totally sure, but I was leaning towards Falconer gold, I think. All of them are pretty good. Now even more so. I'm wishing Yuri had kept the Coven, because it looks like the play right now is just to get a majority of the estates, which that Falconer would have really helped with. Like if Yuri Province is here, that's just losing. I mean, I guess they were hoping for RTT to dud. They didn't see the hand or anything. But I think if they had Falconer, they could have gotten like 3 estates and then been in a fine position. Oh, well, 2-0 for RTT. Based on how every other match in this tournament has gone so far, there's a very high likelihood that this game ends on a 4-1. With RTT at 2 already, and that looks like it'll be a 4-1 in RTT's favor. But I believe 9 of the 12 matches so far have been 4-1s, and every other match has been a 4-2. Oh, this is an interesting kingdom. This is one where play order is going to matter a lot. A lot of this kingdom, I think, is going to come down to micromanaging, like stables, minstrel, menagerie, and so forth. Yeah, another ghost ship, and this time it's going to be real impactful. Yeah, menagerie can kind of sort of counter ghost ship, because if you have menagerie in your starting hand, you can activate it. I think, how do you open? Probably just ghost ship on 5-2. On 4-3, Silver Baron, Silver Research. I think Silver Research would be my open. I want to get pretty thin pretty fast. Could have even considered opening Menagerie over Silver, I guess, as Yuri, because you already know your opponent's probably going to take the ghost ship. I wonder if you try to play with non-treasure payload because of Menagerie, like Crown Merchant ships or something. Baron Estates. You could. Like, neither of those sticks out to me as amazing payload, but they're probably good enough with Menagerie around that it would be better than golds. You could play with like a gold, a silver, and a copper, because that won't interfere with Menagerie. Yeah, so Yuri wanted the research, RTT wants the research. I think research or Baron could have been good for Yuri. I don't think I would have taken Baron as RTT with the ghost ship around already. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that until AOE pointed it out. But RTT bought exactly one card turn 1 and turn 2, the ghost ship. And that is the exact one card that missed the shuffle turn 3 and turn 4. That's real sad. On the upside, it might mean this match goes longer and we get to see more games. I think ghost ship time now for Yuri. Could consider Baron Menagerie. I don't think you really need Academy yet. Academy already, says Silly Potter. What are you playing with it though? So far Yuri's only got the Baron. I mean, I guess you could just stock them up for future turns. RTT does not have that many menageries yet. I think I would have taken the ghost ship on 7. Not 100% sure of that, but that's where my mind was leading. You're saying it's over for Yuri or over for RTT? I don't think this game's over yet. Yeah, one dimensional sounds nice here. One royalty's considering. Another research, another menagerie. Yeah, minstrel seems good. This is going to be a nice ghost ship. RTT's ghost ship's actually going to help out Yuri here. I don't know, like RTT's maybe a little behind, but his deck's not doing bad. Okay, well with that hand, maybe RTT's behind now. That's a sad starting hand to see. I mean, Yuri's taking so many menageries. On the one hand, I don't think his deck really needs them. On the other hand, RTT surely wants at least some of them, and there might just not be any left to go around. Yuki. Yuri, I think, there's a lot of the fives look good, honestly. Like, this is even a kingdom where I would consider getting merchantship, like, quite strongly. It plays nicely with Menagerie, more so than, like, gold does. But, yeah, Crown Baron would be real nice. Stables would be fine. You can discard those coppers. Ghost Ship, I still think Ghost Ship is good for Yuri. Like, RTT does not have many Menageries. I think, actually, RTT's only Menagerie is the one in his hand. Like, Ghost Ship would hurt on a lot of turns. Or maybe not that. I mean, no, yeah, still on a lot of turns. I guess the Wandering Minstrel can kind of sort of like negate the effect of Ghost Ship. Like if you put 2 coppers on the top, then the bottom copper will get discarded. So that sort of cuts the effect of Ghost Ship in half, but it's still going to be a bad attack. What did Gold and Minstrel? The first gold I think is fine because it's another unique card which will help Menagerie draw rather than hinder it. I'm pretty sure I don't want more than 1 gold in this deck, though. I think 1 gold is the number you'll see all game. Having a lot of crowns will be good here. You can crown golds at the end for payload, or crown your 1 gold. In the middle of the turn, you can crown all sorts of good stuff. I mean, the argument against gold is it costs 6, and with 10 you could be buying like 2 5s. Like, Crown Merchant Ship also sounds really good. It's more payload than gold plus Wandering Minstrel is. Could even take another... Actually, no, he only has 1 estate. I was going to say another Baron, but another Baron with a single estate in your deck is kind of weird. I don't think gold Minstrel's a bad buy at all, though. I think that was actually totally fine. I wonder what Yuri's contemplating here. It seems pretty clear that you researched the... never mind. I see. He's not researching the estate because he has that Baron. That is his last estate. That makes sense. I understand why you're trashing the copper. It is a little surprising Academy hasn't been bought, but I guess it hasn't really been an ideal time to do it. Like, they both have tons of minstrels now, and not a whole lot of terminals. So, Academy might just never see play here. This will be a nice time to crown Baron for RTT. I think as RTT, I really want to take this last 2 menageries. Like, Yuri has not shown any interest in Ghost Ship, but if he gets Ghost Ship, you'll want to have those menageries around, and they're a good draw anyway. RTT has a single menagerie in his entire deck, and that just does not seem good. Yeah, as RTT, I click menagerie twice and then think about what else I want. Nope, RTT does not want to play with menageries at all. Taxman. Okay, that is not what I expected. I mean, RTT, he does have a lot of coppers left. I'm not sure the attack of Taxman really matters, but I can see Taxman will get you some economy, and you kind of need that. I don't think you want to trash the Baron. Baron plus Estate are both unique cards. So, what's the purpose of getting the second Estate? Well, the other plus buy is Seaway. The plus buy is not important for Yuri because he's got Seaway on Menagerie. It's not important for RTT because he's got Seaway on Wandering Minstrel. You don't need Baron for plus buy. I'm less sure of this double Baron Estate play that Chakalaki is describing. I mean, maybe it is payload, but one Baron and one Estate always plays well with Menagerie. Two Barons and two Estates could be awkward if you line both Barons and both Estates up with neither the other card. Like, Yuri's deck is currently extremely unlikely to dud, and one way to dud would be like a hand of Baron, Baron, Menagerie. Well, I actually didn't see what he actually did. Okay, so he just didn't play either of them and bought a Stables. That seems alright. I feel like Yuri could do with some crowns. I mean, Stables is fine. But I was thinking crown. Taxman Silver into crown is a nice interaction. Sad hand for RTT. Yeah, I think buying just crown here sounds quite alright. And Yuri does that. RTT now drawing the deck. Turn that into a gold. Yeah, I think the first one is gold makes sense. In the future, I think. Well, actually, no. RTT doesn't have to think about uniques very much because he's only got the one Menagerie to think about. So, I mean, crown is probably better than gold in many situations anyway. But RTT doesn't necessarily need to think about like two golds upsetting Menageries because he doesn't have many Menageries for that to upset. What's RTT taking? Another Stables? Yep. And then from there, not totally sure. Crown Menagerie? Could just be Province, I guess. I was thinking Crown Menagerie, but RTT wants the Province. With this many Menageries in it, Yuri's deck is going to draw so reliably. Yeah, I don't understand why Yuri has just ignored the Ghost Ship thing entirely. Like, yeah, Ghost Ship doesn't hurt Yuri's deck at all because he's got Menageries, but Ghost Ship does hurt RTT's deck, I think, a pretty large amount. I don't know. I still think Ghost Ship would be good here. I think Yuri could afford to build another turn. I don't know. Could be like ship, crown, something. Could even be both ships. Maybe even buy gardens. That'd be worth a few points. RTT will put the stables on top and he'll be able to draw here. Or maybe not. He's cutting it close. Oh, he found the stables. He's fine. RTT's deck is not as reliable as Yuri's is. If he gets like a one dud, he'll be in a lot of trouble. I don't think the number of menageries Yuri has is way too many, especially given that RTT has a ghost ship. Maybe he got like one more than he needed. RTT's deck is way more reliable? No way. Those menageries are just never going to fail. Especially if my opponent has ghost ship attacking me. Well, they only have one province each. That does not seem like a relevant concern. Stables is just... I strongly disagree. Stables is not very reliable of a card. RTT does not have that many treasures in his deck. You can discard Crowns, which would be fine, but then you're sad. And Wandering Minstrel does not play that well with Stables. You have this problem where you play your Minstrels early to find the Stables, but then if you didn't already have the treasures in hand, you're just going to have a bunch of Stables that you draw dead. I mean, like, not to say RTT's deck is unreliable, but if my only goal was to draw my deck every turn, I would take Yuri's in a heartbeat. I'm not totally sure who's winning this. I think my money's on Yuri. Does he have enough money to double? If Yuri doubles, he's in a threatening scenario. Like, yeah, there will be exactly one turn where Yuri will have a potential for dud, which would be like next turn if he provinces here. And that could be the one way Yuri loses, but like here, I think, like if Yuri doubles here, I'm not sure what RTT does in response to that. Maybe RTT has a better idea, because I'm not exactly sure how much payload RTT has. I think you draw your deck, you count it up, and then ideally you crown the merchant ship. It's possible you crown the gold if you count out your buys and you realize you need one more coin this turn. But I would like to crown the merchant ship, I think. Oh, then again, actually maybe not. Wait. I'm going back and forth on this. Yeah, I think don't crown the merchant ship probably. The difference between crowning merchant ship and gold is if you crown the merchant ship, your crown stays out of play next turn, which is one less card you need to draw. But if Yuri's drawn pretty alright anyway, I would rather just crown gold both turns, which gives you 6 coins both turns, rather than crown merchant ship both turns, which gives you 4 coins both turns. So if you think you can still draw to the crown next turn, then you'd rather crown the gold because it's going to get you 1 more coin each turn. I think 1 more province here for Yuri. Oh, that's a real unfortunate starting hand. I mean, he had 3 provinces in his entire deck, and 2 of them were on top. That's sad. And he doesn't have a minstrel either, so even Ghost Ship isn't really going to help this very much. He didn't set anything inside of the research, did he? Nope. Yeah, that's just sad sight to see. Oh, I would be totally fine playing that. Like, you can build big enough here that you're basically going to have one possible turn where this is an issue, right? Like, you can buy 1 province early, then you buy some more provinces, and then there's exactly 1 turn where it potentially even matters. And if you have Minstrel in your deck, you find the province kind of like anywhere but the very top, and you're totally fine. I mean, dudding on the final turn isn't more significant than dudding in an early turn, because either way it costs you 1 turn. If you dudded like turn 10, then you're going to be a turn behind already going to the final turn. I don't think the turn at which you did matters. I still understand why Yuri never got a Ghost Ship, though. Like, that would have really put the kibosh on RTT's deck. Like, RTT is already struggling to draw here. We had to draw through 2 more cards each turn. It actually might be a little bit unfortunate that RTT's tax ban successfully discarded a copper, because if it failed, Yuri's hand would have been revealed, and then RTT would know that Yuri had a dud coming up, and then could successfully play around that. Okay, what's RTT by? Province and Duchy. Seems sensible. Yeah, if Yuri drew deck, that would be losing, but Yuri's not going to draw. This is unfortunate. Play Baron for the estate. Menagerie draw is just fine. Like, the odds of drawing 2 of your 3 provinces in the starting hand are not high. If Yuri doubles, he loses anyway. What does that mean? If Yuri doubles, he wins 31 to 22? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, buying province doesn't seem bad for RTT. Yeah, I'm not as opposed to this Menagerie deck as Shakalaki is. I think that, this is the risk, but that was like an exceptionally bad turn. RTT could have a hand with stables and no copper in it, and then have the same sort of dud, and that's the risk of stables. Well, he doesn't just have Menagerie. He has a stables in his deck. He has Minstrel in his deck. I think no, he's got other cards in there. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable deck composition. I'd be happy playing with that deck. The one thing Yuri I think should have had and didn't is a Ghost Ship. I still think that is a significant attack for RTT's deck that he skipped out on. But I'm not so worried about the menagerie draw. I think menagerie works pretty well here. Now, can RTT double? He's got 6, 10, 13. Oh, this is close. I count 15. Is there any way to eke out an extra coin? Oh my. Maybe Yuri wins after all. Even despite the bad dud. Like, Yuri is likely to double next turn. As RTT, maybe you just buy Province Duchy and hope that your opponent can't beat that. You could research the tax man. Does that? Yeah. That's probably better than not doing it. Taxman's attack won't matter because your opponent doesn't even have a 5-card hand. Duchy Estate. Oh, that was a typo. Yeah, I don't know about Duchy Estate. I think as RTT you take province plus some points, probably province Duchy, and then you're threatening to single province next turn. As RTT, I don't want to leave 2 provinces because I don't think I could get them again if I had another turn. Could Gardens be worth more? RTT has apparently countered it. Oh, I don't think I like the double Gardens play. I think it. Okay. I mean, this still loses to Yuri dudding. Oh, sorry, this still loses if Yuri doesn't dud. If Yuri hits double province, you're lost either way. But with this line, if Yuri does dud, how does RTT end the game next turn? I think I like the single province. It could be province plus Gardens or something. But then if Yuri fails to win, you win the following turn. I think, yeah, what will most likely happen is Yuri will just hit 16 here. Look at those menageries doing all their work. And the Wandering Minstrel discarding the province. What a phenomenally reliable deck. Yeah, sure, the last menagerie won't work, but you already got a stables in hand, you'll be fine. Well, that was not an opportune time to play the Wandering Minstrel. I think that was very avoidable, I'm pretty sure. Yuri could have played the stables first. Did he hit 16 anyway? I think he'll have 16 anyway. Uh, 5, 8. He needs that gold. I think Yuri made a mistake playing the Wandering Minstrel when he did. He had all the cards he needed on the top of the deck, and he could have drawn them with stables. And instead he discarded. Oof. Ouch. Yeah, I think this was a play order issue. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure playing the Wandering Minstrel when he did, he discarded the gold that he really needed. If he played the stables and discarded copper, I think he would have had it in hand. I'm like relatively confident. Now what does Yuri buy? I don't think you buy 1 province as Yuri. Because they were the last 2 cards in his deck. AoE. Like, he'd already seen that he'd discarded the other province duchy with the Wandering Minstrel, the previous Wandering Minstrel. And so he knows he hasn't seen his gold yet. And so I would want to play the stables, which would draw the gold, rather than play the Wandering Minstrel, which has like a good chance to discard the gold. He had a stables and menageries, which I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure there's a guaranteed line that draws the gold, because you have, what do you call them, victory cards in the discard, and you have the gold somewhere in the deck. If you play the Wandering Minstrel, it's going to discard some composition of treasures off the top of your deck, which could be the gold. If you play the stables and menageries first, you draw the gold, and then you have a discard full of the junk that you wanted to be in the discard. Were there 6? I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure like he had the stables in hand already, and could have drawn on with it. And I believe he still has the menagerie. Let me look at this turn. Yeah, he played the 2 menageries and the stables after that. That's 5 draw. Well, he doesn't draw everything, but he doesn't need to draw the victory cards that are in the discard. Doesn't he? If he plays stables, menagerie, minstrel, that's more than enough. I'm not 100%. This is all me thinking back to it. But I believe that there was a line there that guaranteed that he drew the right cards. Awkward hand for RTT. I guess you discard... Yeah, surely you discard Crown of Stables, right? Why would you not? Oh, he's going to use a menagerie draw. He does discard Crown after all, and he hits double province. That was kind of back and forth there at the end. Put estates into the discard for no benefit. What do you mean by that? Yeah, RTT drew 3 with the menagerie, which wouldn't have happened if the estates were... Because if you play the Baron after, your menagerie doesn't draw. Alright, what do we got here? The only action is encampment, and we have bridge patrol around, so I feel like I kind of want encampment a lot. Contrast with Masquerade, you can draw with Storyteller, you can get plus buy with Bridge Patrol or Capital. I feel like encampment's kind of an important card here. That's going to be awkward because you can't just like take it early and keep it. This is a kingdom where I actually would buy gold if I hit 6. Gold looks like a significant card because it'll let you keep those encampments around. That's what I'm thinking at least. I think you open like Masquerade Silver, and I will happily take the first gold I can get, then start adding encampments and then Storytellers and Bridge Patrols and such. Plunder less significant. Like you'll probably add some plunders if you can get them, but it's the plus action I want because it lets me play a bunch of Bridge Patrols. I mean, you could build a deck that just plays 1 or 2 Bridge Patrols a turn, and then just has more treasure-based payload and draws a lot of Storytellers. But I think I'd like to be playing a lot of those. Ironworks. That's not what I expected. I like Mask Silver. What's he gaining with that? You can gain the encampments, but if you can't hit 6, you're not keeping them. Yeah, RTT takes Masquerade Silver. I think that makes more sense to me. Yuri managed to have a very nice draw with this Masquerade anyway. What do you buy on your first 5? I think Capital's good. Capital to get gold makes sense. Storyteller also makes sense. You cycle around your Masquerade more. I don't think I would have taken the Bridge Troll yet, but I think Capital and Storyteller both are sensible. What do you Ironworks for? If you buy an encampment, I assume. Camel Train for gold. Okay. That makes sense. He's about to buy gold. As Yuri, do you save this encampment? I guess he does. I mean, he knows he's got gold coming in. I think that makes sense to me. I think, like, I didn't like the Ironworks opening, but it's working out pretty well for him. He's got gold before RTT does, and he's going to have all those encampments. Almost all of them, at least. Yeah, it's a risk that paid off. It's not a risk I would have taken. Even seeing this game, I still don't think I would open Ironworks. But he is looking to be in the lead now. Now RTT's in a kind of an awkward spot because he's got 2 encampments, but he doesn't have any golds yet, so he can't play them. Now RTT will probably buy a plunder here, and that'll solve that problem. As Yuri, I'm thinking plunder Masquerade maybe. Could just be Storyteller Masquerade. He's already got 2 golds. This is a really sad hand for Yuri. Look at both of those golds and none of those encampments. Yeah, like plunder for RTT makes sense. I think Storyteller is probably better than plunder for Yuri in that position. As Yuri, do you play this encampment? I mean, you're probably losing it. You're very likely to lose it. What are the odds that top card in your deck ends up being a gold? Obviously, the next one isn't, but the second one could be. But if you play encampment, you can draw on. You can play Camel Train. That's a tough call. This is an encampment I'm unsure about playing. What's he going to exile? Storyteller? Plunder? RTT now also has a risky encampment play to decide about. Storyteller. Take the Storyteller. All these stories being left untold. It's really tragic. Storyteller Bridge Troll. Yep. That is an encampment that I'm sure Yuri will take. I think I would have taken Guardian over nothing there for Yuri. Like, a Guardian is basically a cantrip with Storyteller around, and it will block Bridge Troll, which is otherwise like a relic attack with Storyteller around. I don't think you play this Ironworks first, or at all. I think you just play the Masquerade. Okay, he wants another mask. That's fine. Oh, I would have triggered this shuffle, I think. That's a bunch of cards I'd be fine with leaving out of the shuffle. Yuri is surely going to buy Storyteller here. But RTT does have a lot of Bridge Trolls. Yuri's position was looking pretty good earlier. Maybe I misjudged that, but could have been some bad draws. I'm not sure where this went to losing. Like, after he got that high roll with the 5 copper hand turn 3, yeah, it might have just been waiting too long on those Storytellers. Yuri also had a pretty bad shuffle that one time, though. There was that time where he had like 3 encampments in his deck, and then he drew both golds together with 0 of the encampments. That was pretty sad. But I also agree that the lack of Storytellers was a bit of a misplay. Wait, so if who's internet? Who's out? So if Yuri loses, Japan is out of the tournament. Because Cider was the first one eliminated, and Yuri will be third if this game goes to RTT. And then the other person eliminated was Dingen in the game like 2 hours ago. Oh yeah, this is looking real bad for Yuri. This is the loser's bracket? Or what? Why do you no longer think that? Or this is the lover's bracket, I think, according to RTT's spelling. Yeah, RTT lost the first match versus Sam E. Yuri lost to N.A. Smith 99. And so these two have met up in loser's bracket round 1, which is what we're currently watching. What do you buy as RTT? Just another Storyteller? Does that worry about... does that risk piles? Capital could be a good buy for RTT here. Capital really sets up for a a following turn win. Or does he already have a capital in there? Okay, yeah. No, even with one capital, a second capital doesn't really hurt. This looks like game. RTT should surely be able to pile storytellers and bridge trolls and guardians easier. I don't think Yuri hoarded an encampments that badly. And it also kind of made sense because, like, encampments plus action is kind of significant here. I think his mistakes were elsewhere. I mean, the opening was a mistake, but the opening ended up paying off for him anyway. But then I think it was a combination of poor mid-game shuffles and lack of mid-game draw. The plunders and then that one really bad shuffle, I think, are probably the two big things. He also got bridge troll before storyteller as well, which seems a little bit iffy. The bridge troll, at the very least, I guess, plays well with ironworks maybe and gets you more draw long term, but I think he just needed storytellers a while back. All right, we have the first game or first match of this tournament that was not either a 4-1 or a 4-2. Congratulations to RTT for moving on to round 2. Japan is now out of the tournament. I'm pretty sure Cider and Yuri were the only two from Japan. All right, signing off.